So I'm Kaveh. A lot of people forget my surname, and so
It's unpronounceable anyway. So
it's unpronounceable. So my blog is Uncle Kaveh. That means anyone Googles Uncle Kaveh, you'll find me. And on the web. And Jagath is from our office in India. There is a slight blurring. Yes, I'm sorry we can't fix that because we're going to it from HDMI, etc. But
3D glasses.
so the Grand Wizard has sent us a message, and thank you to Jennifer and Dennis for sending that. And he had a special message for me too, I think.
These guys didn't know how to typeset TeX, huh?
Yeah.
This is, I was just, yeah, we'll go through that. I'm sure Knut didn't typeset that. Yeah. Brief history of what we do. So I'm a physicist of many years ago, and I guess I was the first tech user in London University. So at Imperial College, I remember it was me, and it was Malcolm Clark who was the support guy. And as I've said this before, many years later, I said, thank you, Malcolm, for supporting me. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have been able to write my thesis. And he said, no, you don't understand. I owe you a debt of gratitude. I said, well, why, Malcolm? You're the one, the great one I always wanted to ask questions of. He said, what you don't know is if you were not using TeX, I wouldn't have had a job. So he was the one support guy for TeX. And he said, well, we've got a user. So he sat all day waiting for me to go and ask questions. So it worked for both of us. So I started our company in 1988 in London, and now we have offices in UK and India. I don't know if that's visible. Anyway, here is our staff in India. This is the Onam celebrations, autumn, the harvest festival, where you put flowers in special arrangements, and that's the result. So thank you, the guys there. Some of our clients we've worked with over the years, so we work with publishers, specifically publishers who do mathematics. So the business is typesetting academic books and journals. The last 8 years, we've been thinking of putting all our knowledge into the cloud, so that rather having on the computer, we have this on a server, and I'll show you a quick demo of that. Publishers want full XML. Every publisher that I know of, they want to have XML. Some of them don't even know why they want it, but they want it because other people have it, so they have to have it. It's like the first days of the web, if you like. People didn't know what the web was, but they needed a web page. Well, why? Because someone else has a web page. We need a web page. So everyone has XML. No one looks inside it, but they have it. And they want PDF, HTML, EPUB. They might want GIF for equations for different uses. Publishers are now almost uniquely, they're saying we want our output to be XML first. That's become a sort of cliche. Again, they all want XML first because everyone else has XML first. They don't quite know. I hope my clients are not listening to this. It's recorded. But you know, it's XML first. That means XML must be the definitive source. That means because in future you might want to make something else out of it, that's where you go from. So going from XML to, say, PDF fully automatically is a very difficult job to do, generally speaking. With good typography and good content, good pagination, it's not an easy thing to do. Almost all suppliers will say, yes, of course we do XML first, because all the publishers want XML first. So everyone plays this game, but almost nobody actually does it. A few say we don't do XML first, but they're sort of honest few. They'll all say, yeah, XML first, but they do a little bit of manual. You know, if you go in with a semicolon on the last day, they're not going to put the XML and press the button, the PDF come out. We do that. And we think only TeX allows you to do fully automated XML first. This is why TeX is actually relevant right now, more relevant after 35 years, it is relevant, very relevant in publishing. So, there are two problems. An author writes a paper, sends it in. XML is sort of the center of the publishing world. You need to create XML, then you need to render XML. Okay, so you need to go from author's file to XML, you need to go XML to say PDF or other things. For creating XML, well, you have to tag whatever the author has given you in a structured way. XML is very verbose, so if you tag it, it's difficult to do unless you have some sort of front end, then you can't see the tags. Now, TeX has just the right balance. You can tag it completely structured way, but it's readable. It's designed to be human readable. XML is not designed to be human readable. MathML is not human readable. It is not anything readable, right? But TeX is designed. Math is, and you can actually go from a nice math. You press a button and you get MathML, as you know. So what we do is to convert files, anything we get, into TeX, and then structure the TeX. What other people do, most other types, as I was saying yesterday, they go the other way. Because they've got a Word workflow, they take a TeX file, they create Word out of that, and then somehow kludge it and get the PDF, and then author screen. So from that structured TeX, we can create XML with TeX for HT, LaTeX XML, etc. To render the XML, there are various ways. You can use XSLFO, which is becoming sort of, it's going out now. People are sort of making it becoming redundant. And you don't get very nice pages out. There is now, I don't know if you've heard, there's a big drive, I forget the name for it, there's an HTML, you can go from HTML via CSS to fixed output. So people are saying, we can actually create PDFs in the browser. There's a whole W3C working group, the digital publishing group. I have my doubts if that's, in my opinion, what they're trying to do is to reinvent TeX, right? We've got TeX. So it's not a coincidence that the best line-breaking algorithm is the Knuth-Plus algorithm that they've implemented. So when they come to doing floats and footnotes, etc., they might have to re-implement the Knuth's page-breaking algorithm, footnote algorithm, float algorithm. Then you might as well use TeX. But that's a by the way. So we can go from XML in different ways to output. And we can go via TeX. We can go direct route something like XML TeX to go from XML to PDF, or two-step process, something like you create a TeX first, then PDF. If you look at the content, now everyone is proud of the XML. They've got it on disk. They've got terabytes of disk that they show you around, but they never look inside these things. Yeah? It's supposed to be future-proof. They think if it parses, you get a green tick mark, it's perfect, right? They pay the client, and everything is fine. Now, the way I look at it, you go to an art gallery, and you have a parser for your artwork. Now, this tick mark means it says, yeah, this passes the test. Actually, it's looking at the frame only, right? A parser looks at the tags, doesn't look inside, look at the picture. So this is perfect, but so is that. Okay? So you could have an art gallery with the horse's backside, and it'll be, it'll pass the test. And a lot of that is right now in the publishing houses, unfortunately. Very simply, if you take, go to any an open access publisher. Some of them, they publish the XML. If you look at it, you'll find, okay, you got first page 341, last page 354. That's how it should be coded. But you'll find it says first page 341, last page 54. Mm-hmm. Probably 50% of the time.
Yes.
Why? Because in the PDF convention, you have 341-54. Yes?
How can they even have brackets around the year?
Oh, don't even get me started on that. That is, yeah, I mean, I just took the good bits out of that. That's called mixed citation. In mixed citation, in the JATS model, you can have, almost universal, 90% of publishing has that. Because it makes it easier to typeset later, you put all the crap, forgive me, all the punctuation in outside the tags. So that the idea is that if you want the semantics out of this, you can actually read the tags, take the tags out. Sorry, look between the year, for example, and you'll see what that is. But then you don't look at the brackets in principle. Of course, the right way is to put the brackets in on the fly, but no one's doing that because typesetters don't know how to do that. Yeah. But thank you for drawing it there. That's so common, universal. I didn't even see that. Okay, an end dash. You have an end dash here. Right? You shouldn't have an end dash. That should be created on the fly. So this should be 341-354. Sorry, no dash. On the fly, you have 341, and then it's shortened to 54. No one's doing that. Right? That's the state of publishing. Here's another example. You might. I'm sure Boris is going to tell me exactly what's wrong with this. The minus sign is a little bit low, so I had to look at the XML. That was published a few months ago in one of the big open access publishers, and they're not alone. It's actually everywhere. If you look at, you'll see this. I came across this, and if you look at this, it's slightly segue, but you can see that I thought this doesn't quite look right because everything is the same, looks the same, right? The text and if you look at it, so this is the MathML. Fine. I mean, MathML is very verbose. We know that, but now if you just change the colors, you find that, true, TRUE, positive. This is coded as T multiplied by U multiplied by U, etc. This is the future-proof XML. But this is the good bits, guys. These are the good bits, okay? So, anyway, that's a sort of segue. Coming back to tech, what is being done now is you've got different people, you've got how much time have I spent? I have no...
15 minutes.
All right. You've got author going to send a file. We are still sending attachments or via some sort of system. We're sending files to each other, to publisher, to peer reviewer. Goes back to author, it's publisher, peer editor. Every time there's a Word file or text file going back and forth. If you think about it, it's exactly the same as we were doing, say, 100 years ago, but instead of a horse cart sending it, we are attaching it. The rest, sending proofs back, etc., is the same. So what we thought was, as I say, we thought, what's a better way of doing this? Let's put XML right in the center of our universe, where it should be. And let's have collaborative authoring. Let's have authors come in, log in securely, as if they're writing a blog. They write, and when they press send or submit, an XML file, say JAX, NLM, whatever, is created. Publisher comes in, looks at the XML with a nice front end. Reviewer comes in, makes comments. We can save that in the XML, etc. There's one file only. There's no conversion. At the moment, there's hundreds of conversions. Publisher says, right, it's done, ready to publish, presses a button, and everything comes out. PDF, EPUB, HTML. So we have now built several modules to do each of these. And again, tech is right here producing the things on the fly. Producing a PDF on the fly means when you want a PDF, you can choose what kind of PDF you want. I want black and white, RGB, low, high res. I want to have the author bio, I want to have the peer review, etc. You can choose what's grabbed out of the XML and put into the PDF because it's created on the fly. It's a new way of giving people what they want. That's that. And if I can, Jagath, can you come, please? Don't just sit there, man. I need you. So I need my presentation. Okay. So this is... Screen resolution's a bit low here, forgive me, but here is, I've logged in as Kaveh. what you're looking at is XML. This is not HTML. It's pure XML according to the client's DTD. It's rendered on the fly and shown as HTML. So we're using HTML tools, but we are always saving and reading back XML. From the XML, it knows that the XML has a particular format, construction. So if I say edit now, I might be at, say, copy editor. I can change this to Kaveh. No, this is not my keyboard. Okay, lowercase, never mind. And I can edit this, and if I save that, it goes back, it writes the XML, the JATS XML back. It gives you here a track changes. You can hide or change it to show the track changes whenever you want. I can work this keyboard, so I can go to here. And there are no author instructions, by the way. None of our platforms have instructions. Facebook doesn't have instructions, so this shouldn't have instructions, okay? So you double click and it becomes editable. Again, on the screen, that goes a little bit too far, but I can now say delete that. I can make this bold and italic. I know this keyboard, so I'll just go to here. The keyboard shortcuts are working. And of course, we've got full math. If you want to put, and the internet is rather slow here, guys, this is pretty fast. A plus B equals the square root of alpha. So if I do that, it shows that using MathJax, okay? This is written, depending on what the client wants, it can be written into math, it's converted to MathML. When you want to edit again, it comes back as TeX, you can edit it. Okay, so you always know you've got the right file. If I'm a copy editor, I can go here and I can put a query, whatever that, oh, that's a citation. I'll show you the citation. Anyway, so I can just add a query. The query goes there, so the author can reply to it. And when I say save, it shows you what's been changed. Okay. So what you've got here is an XML. You've just got XML. It's an XML editor. There's no time to show everything. Page down. The references, they're colored according to the tags on the fly, so you can see you've got the right tags. And if I if I delete reference 6, it knows that we had 8 references. Now we've got page up. Now you can see reference 6 is deleted here. So it knows. So the author never has to remember what kind of, from the XML, because they're tagged, it remembers that. The next person can go in, and the last, say the journal editor can go and accept, reject, ready for publication. When it's ready for publication, at any point, anyone, even the author, can go and say, show me the PDF. This is where the magic, this takes 3 seconds normally. It's now done, but it's downloading because the internet's a bit slow here. It's downloading. What it does, it takes that XML, the client XML, creates a PDF from it. So the publisher can now do their final corrections, and within 10 seconds, they have the XML, they have the PDF, they have the EPUB, and it goes on. So this here, then, yeah. So this is where TeX comes in. You can't do this with anything else. Page down, you can see that's the equation I put in there. You can see we have now 7 references because I deleted 1. It's obviously, publishers say, well, how do you do this? How does reformat? Of course, we know that TeX renumbers everything. So that's what we've done to have basically publishing in the cloud. Using TeX. So I'll hand over to Jagath, who will show some of the other things we're using with TeX. Again, that it's difficult to do with any other system.
Yeah, we use TeX for many of the we use TeX in many of the workflows, and we use TeX for XML generation, typesetting the PDF as Kaveh mentioned. Almost everywhere where we find TeX is very much useful. So let's see some of the situations where we use TeX. We can use TeX as a QC tool for checking print and web version PDFs, web and print versions of images. So publishers usually require one version for print and one version for web. So the content should be exactly same, but the color might be changing. So while distilling, there might be a chance for some rules to disappear. So when we have such a tool, instead of seeing the PDF, we can merge it, or we can place it as a layer, and toggling through the layers, we can exactly find where there is a problem. The PDF is generated using a shell script which checks the directory and lists out the files to a TeX file, then which uses OCGX, eForms packages, and we use some JavaScript which is customized to toggle these layers. There are two types of PDFs available. One will go through the layers so that the QC person can look in the PDF and find whether there is any change. Another one is they can mouse over the layer, and on clicking it, they can switch between the layers. So this is one PDF. You can see when I mouse over, the color changes. While we put the mouse over there and click, it will toggle. So this will help the persons in QC person to identify if there is anything went wrong in two versions. This PDF automatically rotates. There are two layers in this which will rotate the color and web and print versions. And just looking on this PDF, QC team can identify if there is any change in the different versions. So another thing is self-modifying PDFs. There might be a chance. Now the publishers are providing separate print versions or separate web version PDFs. We can provide these type of PDFs in a single version. We can make use of the optional content layer, the PDF layers, to generate a single PDF with different contents. For example, CMYK figures or RGB figures, whatever you want, in separate layers. Here also we use OCGX package, eForms, pop-up menu. JavaScript functions are customized for this. So there is a pop-up in the top of every page. Now its screen version image is displayed. When I switch to black and white, if we want to print it in a black and white printer, we can select black and white printer so that the image will, the layer with black and white content will appear. And same case we can change to color printer so that the CMYK version of the image appears. So there are also certain cases where we use TeX other than the production. For example, for the day-to-day activities like the food coupons for our employees, which can also we interact with our local databases and take these data from the database and generate reports directly from the database and write down TeX files and creates these reports, which is a combination of some PHP shell scripts, which this food coupons is generated using QR code. We have some QR codes in this PDF, and the next one is tooltip PDF. What the tooltip PDF means, in some cases we use the XML-first workflow for generating delivering data to the publisher. So when we convert the XML to HTML, it is very much rich. So using JavaScript, we when we mouse over some certain references, the content of the reference will appear on that link. The same case we can we can do in PDF using fancy tooltip package. There are so many packages we can make use of, and to make the PDF rich, we use PDF layers so that we have more control, just like HTML. We can represent figures, tables, equations. As a pop-up note, I will show you one example. So this is a sample PDF which contains equation 3. So when I mouse over the link, the corresponding equation number is appearing there. So when I leave that point, it disappears. But certain publishers require that the tooltip should stay there. So we have used OCG tools package to make that happen. Also, they want a close button to close it. So if somebody want to see two equations, then it is possible using this setup, and we can close it when we want. So this is
Questions?
Kaveh, your XML-based web page is very, very impressive, and you were telling us how you can get all the, for example, you can get the authors to do their changes in there, but authors tend to be very conservative about the tools they like to use.
Mm-hmm.
And for my area, that means Word, and even then, it also means they like to take all the formatting out and then make their changes and then pass it back to me to fix up for the publisher. How do you see that working? That people just will go, well, I submit in Word and I submit my corrections in Word because that's the tool I use.
Yeah. That's going to yeah, exactly. And Word is going to be the main thing people use for a long time to come. We can't change that overnight.
But more generally, that if you don't control, the author chooses the tool they want to use. That's
Correct.
what's really getting
So
at.
what you can do is give authors an incentive. Okay? So you can say to authors, if you were to use this tool, will publish a week quicker, right? Or if it's an open access, to use the article processing charge, you will pay, you pay 30% off your article processing charge. There are a lot of other people. You might have heard of Overleaf. These are people who compete with us, but I'm happy to, Overleaf, Share LaTeX, Authoria. There's another one coming, a manuscripts app. So there's a lot of talk about collaborative authoring. So, they're conservative, but if they can see that they don't have to worry about reference formatting.
They don't. They need
Well,
me to worry about.
No, but the thing is, if you go to author instructions, every journal says, put your comma here, put your brackets here, etc. And they still spend time doing that. And I didn't go into it, but for example, we have an API to something like Zotero or Mendeley. You press a button and the reference comes in, you don't worry about it.
Any other questions quickly? Sorry.
In my group, we use a lot of change tracking, checking things into Subversion or Git, and so on. Does your system, or is it planned to offer anything like that?
Yeah, there's full version control in there, and it knows who changed what. Again, I didn't have time. We've got a paragraph-based version control where you press and it gives you the last version and it goes all the way to the first version, and you can compare any, but not in a sort of, not in a sort of text way. It actually shows you the formatting as well.
Jordan, did you have a question as well as?
Yes, well, I have a question for the PDFs that you show and the enriched PDFs.
Yes.
But these are ones that go to the author or are seen by people who want to see PDF. Because with the print shops that I have to do, they wouldn't accept such enriched PDFs. But the print shops want PDF 1.3 at best. I'm happy if they take 1.4.
We would create several PDFs. Yes. One for screen. These are for screen use.
Yeah. We have time for yes, Nelson.
I had a brief anecdote and a quick question. The anecdote is one of our former graduate students who done a PhD with great work on programming, went off into the financial industry and has worked for several companies. His second most recent company had a new manager who came in and announced, from now on, we're doing all of our programming in XML. The question I had was, do you find that the publisher-supplied DTDs are adequate to describe the markups that you, at the production end, really need to describe the author-contributed manuscripts in the PDF form?
Not quite. What we have, there's no way at the moment of keeping the changes, the editorial changes. We are keeping all the copy editing changes, all the proofreaders' marks, etc. So you can see who did what. But we put them into spans in the XML. So those are not there. The other thing is the JATS, which is becoming NLM DTD, or JATS, which is becoming the standard. The DTD is fine, but it's not used correctly. For example, it allows you to use, it's got what's called mixed citation and element citation. Element citation is great, but people tend to use mixed citation because it's easier and no one cares, and no one apart from me is looking into the content. So the elements are there, but they're not used properly.
Thank you.
Thank you.